Nancy Pelosi is one step closer to reclaiming the Speaker's gavel, but her fight is not over yet. Running unopposed on the secret ballot, Pelosi won the support of 203 House Democrats to claim her party's nomination. But 32 Democrats defected and 3 others left their ballots blank. That means Pelosi will need to win over 18 of the Democrats who did not vote in her favor yesterday, assuming all Republicans vote against her. Asked if she has those votes, Pelosi said yesterday, quote, "I think we're in pretty good shape." Joining us now is the Democratic mayor of the great city of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. Mr. Mayor, good to see you as always.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. You wrote yesterday that this is one of the most consequential Congresses in modern history, and it's no time to have a rookie sitting across the table from Mitch McConnell or Donald Trump. There's a movement, as you know, through these midterm elections from some of these people who made promises, who won their elections, Democrats saying it's time for a new generation of leadership in the Democratic Party, and I will stand in the way of Nancy Pelosi becoming Speaker again. What do you say to those young people who are voted into Congress and want to turn the page?
Well, a lot of people voted. That's why we have a majority. I look at it from 2 levels. First and foremost, from a presidential level. One is when George Mitchell faced off against Bush on the budget, it set the precedent for Bill Clinton's election. In 06 to 08, when we faced off against President Bush in relationship to kid care and other items, it set up the paradigm for Barack Obama to become president. The next 2 years are about setting up for the election in 2020 and dividing, in my view, the Republican Party and Donald Trump from the base of the Republican Party. That is what happened in this last election. A whole group of independent voters, and mainly in the suburbs, came our way. Are we going to put our arms around them or shove them back? And I see these next 2 years as a precedent and basically a building block into 2020. You need a veteran, as I said in the rest of that statement. You want Nancy Pelosi is as cagey as Mitch McConnell is ruthless, and then Donald Trump is unprincipled. And I want a veteran who understands what happened in 1990 that led to 1992 Bill Clinton's election, and in 2006 and 2008 that led to President Obama's election. That is what these 2 years are about. She's a seasoned, experienced veteran, and she understands what's happening and therefore will respond to the energy, which is positive. The second thing that I really think is important, and I say this as a believer, as a Democrat, when you look across the elections that were very strong for Democrats in the House and in the state houses, Nancy Pelosi led the Democratic Party for the last 2 years from a really bad election in 2016. I'm from Chicago. Maybe I'm really old school, but to the victor go the spoils. You don't now. A lot of people in our party, and if Beto O'Rourke wants to go and run for president, God bless him. He should put his hat in and make his case. But he lost. You don't usually promote a loser to the top of the party and then take a winner and say, we're going to cut your knees off. My view is, everybody in our party always says, oh, the Republicans are so much tougher, so much stronger. Do you think they would take somebody that won and said, you know what your reward is? We're going to cut your knees off. Look, in Chicago, New York, across cities and suburban areas, that's not how you play politics to win. And I think 2020 is the game. It's the most important game. My eye is on that prize. And you need to set up in the next 2 years using the foothold we have in Congress to drive what I call a triangulation, where McConnell and Trump don't agree on education, transportation, healthcare cost control, corruption. You drive right there, and you make sure you drive a wedge because it sets up for 2020.
Mike?
Okay, so Mr. Mayor, you just used the phrase seasoned, experienced veteran. That's you. That's you.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, walking the streets.
That was the first time you've been really complimentary. I want to thank you, Mike.
Well, you know, it's nice. It's early in the morning. It's almost the verge of a new year, so I thought I would. But, you know, you deal with police unions, you deal with fire unions, you deal with people, many of whom the Democratic Party has lost in terms of voters over the past 15 years. Now, I'm thinking about Lordstown, Ohio this morning, which is about to have, people have gone from 3 shifts to 2 shifts to 1 shift, pretty soon no shift. What do we do to get the 55-year-old man or woman who voted for Trump but voted for Obama prior to that? What do we do about getting them back instead of talking about cultural stuff, political stuff to get them back?
Well, first of all, I absolutely 100% agree, and I would begin to label what's happening in the economy as the Trump slump. And that's what's going to start humming. And you put it right on them, number one. Number two, there are 3 parts of the electorate. You have to keep an energized urban base. keep our suburban, what I call this metropolitan majority, the unity between urban and suburban, and not lose Lordstown in the way that we have in the elections that we lost. Where we improved ourselves, you look at Michigan governor's race, you look at Wisconsin governor race, you look at Minnesota governor race, Pennsylvania governor's race, Illinois, my home state. We were doing really well in the cities like 200,000 or less in rural, in a sense, comparatively. We didn't get clobbered. You show up, you have an economic agenda. I'll tell you one thing that we have in Chicago. It's called the Chicago Star Scholarship. You get a B average in high school, we make community college free. You go tell the people in those cities who work for a living but have aspirations of the American dream for their children. We're not going to put you in the poorhouse to give your child a chance at the American dream. We're not going to require you to take a second or a third job just to give your child a chance to one day work and manage that company and start their own company and give them back the resources to have the American dream for their child, because their child counts as much as yours and mine, Mike. And we've told them in many different ways, culturally and economically, their kids don't count like our kids. And if you want to win them back as a Democrat, you say the American dream's available for everybody, and we're going to make sure that nobody gets a leg up on anybody else when it comes. The truth of the matter is, our kids do have a leg up.
Yes.
They do have an advantage. They come from two parents with a college education and the means to afford it. Your kids count too, and we're going to make sure that you don't have to go to the poorhouse or take a second mortgage to give them that shot. And if you give them that aspiration and understand that you understand what happens at that kitchen table when it comes to that monthly bill and you got a paycheck that gets you to the 25th and you got to figure out how to get to the 31st, they're going to reward you for understanding how they live their lives. And don't demean culturally and value-wise how they live their lives, that somehow us who live in the city, urban, more cosmopolitan, somehow are superior. At every level, economically and culturally, we have dismissed them, and more importantly, we've dismissed their children. And we have actually made a mistake, and they have penalized us correctly for being dismissive of them.
Elise?
Mayor, you described the economy as being in a Trump slump. What are the economic indicators that have led you to draw this assessment?
Well, first of all, you're going to start to describe it that way. It goes right to Mike's question. Look what happened to GM. He's talking about all these manufacturing jobs. You can see on a series of things, housing starts. You can see it starting to what's happening to sales. You can start to see the beginning of the consumer sentiment, and you start to label that piece. The second punch I would do is I would open up appropriately, and I think it's the key word here is appropriately, which is not one of my strong suits. Is an investigation of some of the issues of all the, what I would say is the swamp that Donald Trump brought with him over at the Commerce Department, over at the EPA, over at Interior. I wouldn't focus right on Donald Trump. I'd focus on all the other satellites that move around him that are keenly connected to him, that are part of the corruption that he brought in the worst way to Washington.
Mr. Mayor, you're a relatively young man. I can't see you stepping off the stage when you leave the mayor's office. What's next for you? Would you get back into public life? Would you run again for something else?
Well, look, that's way too early. First of all, my entire focus in the next 6 months is to make sure that the city of Chicago and everybody in the city, regardless of your neighborhood or zip code, is well positioned for the future.
Right.
I'm going to take some time. I've been at this literally for 24 years. I've had the honor, and here's how I really look at it. I'm the son of an immigrant. I've been an advisor to 2 presidents. I've been elected to Congress and the 4th in leadership. I've been the mayor of the 3rd largest city. I am the luckiest person in the world.
No, you're not as lucky as Ari is.
We're all graded out on a curve, and I think I am. The truth is, I'm going to take a little time, Amy and I, to rest up, do some things that we as a family, because of our kids growing and my career, haven't been able to do. I'll make some resources with 3 kids in college. And more importantly, I'll think about, because I think we have to think about this moment in America, what's happening in other developed countries, and really come up with the paradigm that I think fits for the moment, for the future. And a lot of our discussions is retrospective, and I actually think we have to think about this moment and the perspective of what we have to do to make sure that for another generation, the American dream can't just be alive for my kids and your kids.
Right.
The American dream, if it's a dream, and if it's actually appeals to Americans, has to be alive for every child. And the truth is, over the last 20 years, that dream has narrowed to a group. We have to go in an hourglass again and expand it to everybody. Right. And if kids in Peoria, Aurora, Rockford, and Decatur have the same capacity and the same sense that they have that capacity. The Democrats have to value that and then have a message and policies that include them in the future we're talking about. And we haven't. And we got to acknowledge that, and I want to think about it, and I have some thoughts about how to do that.
All right, advice for Democrats. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, thanks so much for your time. Good to see you again.
Thanks very much.
Coming up next, we'll talk to one of the Republicans taking the Trump administration to task over its handling of Saudi Arabia. Senator Todd Young of Indiana joins us next on Morning Joe.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.